No niin, maalissa. Mahtava suoritus. Onneksi alkaa.
Kiitos, kiitos. Kuin myös.
Kiitoksia. No, onko sulla ollut kiva?
On ollut aika vahvaa elämystä.
Sä oot seikkaillut ihan kunnolla.
Joo, niin kuin varmaan me kaikki.
Mm.
Omia juttuja jokaisella.
Kyllä.
On ollut kyllä älytön kokemus.
Mm. Mikä on ollut hienointa?
Ja se, että pääs läpi.
Mm.
Tää on ollut ainakin itselle semmonen. En mä tiedä, kun sitä on ajatellut, että onko vanhemmiten tullut niin liian mukavuuden haluisesta ei enää niin pystyy mihinkään. Haluaisin kokeilla, pystyykö. Ainakin
Pystyy.
tähän pystyy.
Kyllä. Ja hyvin. Sulla on vielä vaikka kuinka paljon aikaa olisi ollut tässä. Niin. Ja sä olit hotellissa vissiin viime yönä.
Joo.
Kyllä.
Joo.
Taisi olla niinku vuorokausi ylimääräistä ylikin.
Joo.
Kyllä.
Joo.
Helposti. Oliko tää kuinka mones ruska tää oli sulla?
Eka kerta.
Eka kerta?
Joo.
Ja se on uusi numero sitten. No niin, onneksi olkoon siitäkin.
Kiitos, kiitos.
Mahtavaa. Kun sulla oli tää ensimmäinen ruska, niin minkälaisia kokemuksia ja elämyksiä sulla on tässä nyt ollut? Että mitä sä oot oppinut?
No, aika lailla varmaan sitä, että kun on sairaan vaikeat paikkoja ja mitkä normaalisti tuntuu siltä, että kaikki loppuu tähän näin, niin kyllä niistä pääsee läpi. Ja sitten se, että yllättävää, niin joku hetki sen jälkeen, niin maailma voikin olla ihan erilainen, että taas kulkee ja taas menee. Että vaikka niinku takamuski on ihan loppu, niin sieltä löytyy vielä muutama milli, minkä varas pystyy istumaan satulassa ja taas etenee. Että
Kyllä. Vaikka se ei ole mukavaa, niin se silti onnistuu ja sitä oppii arvostamaan niinku erilaisia asioita eri tavalla elämässä.
Joo, ja sitten pystyy jotenkin pääkopasta lyömään sulun niinku niille jutuille, että ajattelee jotain muuta.
Pääsee vähän niinku jotenkin semmoiseen niinku yksinkertaiseen, miten se osaa sanoa, flow-tilaa, että niinku, tässä on tärkeää nyt vaan tämä ja tämä, millään mulla ei väliä.
Joo.
Ei tarvi ajatella mitään muuta tommosia jotakin juttuja, kuin vaikka, että niinku, on joku työmurhe tai tämmöistä, niin
joo,
ne unohtuu ihan täysin varmasti.
Nyt on ollut just se 8 päivää, ei mitään hajua, mikä on maailmantila, ei tietoakaan uutisista eikä mistään. Ja en tiedä, tää on sekavaa, mutta eilen kun ajelin sitä Angelitietä ja juntasin siinä monta tuntia putkea ja tylsää oli, niin sitten yhtäkkiä ne niin kuin maisemat aukesi siihen niin kuin tuli se, että miltä se näytti. Niin vanhalle ukolle tuli niin kovasti tippalinssi, että oli pakko pysähtyä, kun ei eteen nähnyt.
Ihanaa. Että mahtavaa. Yes. Oi mahtavaa, hei, onneksi olkoon.
Kiitos, tehtiin fotografi,
Video.
kummia. So this is the place where
We can't say that.
yet.
Yes, you need to. There we go. And now take the finishing photo. That's a good thing to do, so always double check.
When did you arrive yourself?
Thursday, 2 p.m.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. You early?
Yeah, it was like a day faster than I've done earlier.
What was your, let's say, ranking, placing?
I guess I was 5th. The fastest guy, Larry, was 4 days and 8 hours. And I think he slept a total of 7 hours. Imagine that, yeah. So, was it a good ride, good adventure?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly, an adventure.
Yes.
So you spent some time at Sarmitunturi also,
Yes, I counted it was almost like 16 hours.
and you slept there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's,
Later understood that the community was kind of concerned, but
yeah,
myself wasn't concerned at all. I had food, I had water, I had my sleeping care, and so.
yeah, and that's a beautiful place to sleep at.
Yeah. But
But was it intentional?
no. I arrived at 6 o'clock in the evening,
Yeah.
so I hope to get out of that before the, let's say, dawn or sunset.
Yes.
But actually, at 10 o'clock I realized that I am not going to make it, so I decided to sleep.
Yeah. That's probably a really good decision than just to like spend the night there, like trying to find something which might be impossible to see in the darkness.
And actually, I ended up this kind of place which was really steep, and I thought if really this is the like meaning that I have to carry this my bike over those steep rocks, then I really need some light and clear head. But in the morning, I realized that I can go around, and it was much easier. So.
Yeah, because with the daylight you can see so many other options and so on. So what would you say, what was the hardest moment for you during whole Ruska?
I don't know. You know, you always hope something. You have some sort of goals in your mind. You know, time goals when you have some sort of reservation here with Laxell. But when this crank broke, then was it like really a blow.
Ouch. So what happened with that?
Actually, I think you know, it was so much sand everywhere. So when I started to turn out my foot out of this after those sandy sections, then it's just, I think the crank is made this way that it's those forces he can handle well. But when I started several times and it was full of sand, then it just snapped somehow.
So what actually happened? So did the crank break or the pedal or?
No, you know, this was the carbon in this crank, and inside was this metal piece. And this metal piece
that has the threads. Yeah. So that came off.
Yeah.
So the bonding between metal and carbon.
So this is a new metal piece, some sort of Microsoft piece what they had in the shop, and that's it.
So where did you find this from?
Eno teki jo.
Okay. Oh wow, that you actually managed to find something there. So that's sweet.
And now it's the interesting part. We have this discussion with Mikko whether I'm qualified as a finisher or scratcher, because I have opinion that I am the finisher, but Mikko somehow thinks maybe I'm a scratcher. But this is kind of nice legal dispute we will have later on. So.
Okay. So then what was the best or the happiest moment for you?
You know, I always when you solve something, some sort of you have some problem, for example this crank, when you spend like 5 hours pedaling only with your left foot, and then finally you can pedal with both feet, it's kind of amazing feeling.
And imagine like it's in like the scope of life is kind of a small thing, but at the moment it feels like it's the best thing ever in the whole existence.
So these kind of small things that you solve, and then suddenly you feel really happy about that. So yes, this is.
I really like that way of thinking. So yeah, congratulations again.
Okay, thank you.
So Alo, it's you said it's your 25th anniversary on this bike.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this bike has gone through some serious adventures, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the Brab sticker as well here. I like that. So, how many kilometers on this frame?
No idea.
Any guesstimate?
No, I haven't. I very bad with the kilometers. So,
but it must be several 100,000 kilometers.
I know that I have spent, let's say, major milestones. This is my third Ruska.
Yes.
So I have been TCR Transcontinental Race, Paris.
Yes.
A lot of Ironmans, stuff like that. So I really don't know, but it's a lot and lots of memories.
Oh, I bet. So if you, I don't know, you can compare or you can't compare things. It depends on like the mindset or like the definition. But if you would compare, for example, Transcontinental and Ruska, what would you say? Like in terms of challenge.
You know, it's for Nordic person, it's much more challenging to compete in this heat. You know, it's heat and it's much more climbing. So and you know, even though in terms of meters climbed, it's not too much different, but you climb like several hours on end. Here you have climb, some rest, climb, some rest.
Exactly.
But There is different, and of course heat. For me, it's really bad. Here, I actually kind of not I can't say it, but I enjoy this cold, but I'm okay with the cold, so I can manage the cold very well. But the heat, it's different.
And this is like I've done 4 Ruuskas now, and this was by far the warmest.
Yeah, okay.
Like it was never a single time below 0. It was amazingly warm, and also there was so much tailwind.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot, and it helps especially now on the last day when the weather is good and they have the tailwind. Those people who have the tightest schedule, who have it the hardest, now they have a good tailwind to help them. It could be a huge difference for those who still have like 200 kilometers to go and they have like 12 hours. And if they had like a horrible headwind versus a good tailwind, that would mean like all the difference. You made
Here
it!
we are!
Congratulations!
Kiitos, se on siinä. Oi,
Se on
oi.
siinä. Mahtavaa.
Joo, oli ihana.